Welcome to the channel, where we discuss spirituality, personal growth, and, of course, the practice of seminal retention. This is Laerti. Maybe you've already experienced a loss of vitality, self-assurance, or even concentration in your day-to-day activities. I promise you that these symptoms could be an indication that their potential is trapped, and that's exactly where seminal retention comes in to help them access their inner strength. Keep in mind that I will prioritize the largest contributions when answering inquiries from people who write a thank you note worth more than $5. In addition to bolstering the channel, this assistance enables YouTube to suggest our videos to even more individuals in need of this information. I encourage you to watch through to the very end, because what happens next may change your perspective on your spiritual and personal development. Let's do this. I firmly believe that how we focus our energy throughout our lives is fundamentally related to how beautiful we are. I understand that every everyday habit I develop has a significant impact on my health, since I am affecting the rhythm of my aging and, in turn, how vitality seems to the outside world every time I make decisions about what, how, and how I sleep and read. The human body has an innate urge to maintain its strength and beauty, almost as if it were programmed to battle for its own longevity. I can't get enough of this. The body uses this energy to maintain youth and vitality, but it is limited and must be carefully managed to meet all of the demands that come up during daily life, particularly those associated with reproduction. I enjoy looking at the different animals that nature provides as examples. I frequently observe that people who procreate continuously and expel seminal fluids age considerably more quickly. According to what I recall reading, organisms that do not generate semen, like females of some species or even castrated animals, tend to live longer than those that continue to engage in vigorous reproduction. When viewed in isolation, this information may even appear to go against our natural tendency. After all, we are created to leave offspring. But upon closer inspection, I see that it is a discovery about how the production and release of reproductive fluids directly affects our vital resources, possibly reducing life expectancy and influencing personal attraction. I don't intend to suggest that we should stop having kids or give up sexual activity altogether, but I think that when it's not centered around reproduction, there's an energetic wear that might not be worth the fleeting pleasures that each release brings. This topic was discussed by a number of writers, ranging from biologists to ancient philosophers, who frequently discuss the so-called energy cost of reproduction. They present the theory of the trade-off between longevity and reproduction, which states that the body uses resources that could be used for vitality, attractiveness, maintenance, and repair to support reproductive activity, particularly when discussing the creation of seminal fluid. The physical appearance, hardness of the skin, temperament, strength of the look, and ultimately, the beauty we project to others are all impacted by this spending, in my opinion, in addition to the health itself. This view is supported by a number of historical reports. Numerous ancient texts describe highly distinct symptoms in those who ejaculate regularly, including pallor, weight loss, voice changes, memory loss, strength loss, and even a noticeable decline in energy that affects both the body and the mind. I think it's vital to hear this legacy of the past and add to what science has been learning, even though current medicine doesn't always accept these historical accounts because it frequently views some activities as merely folkloric. Studies that link high levels of sexual activity to organic clothing inspire me to consider how seminal retention may affect my own life. The problem of post-siren orgasmic sickness arises because some persons experience unfavorable symptoms following ejaculation, such as intense weariness, pain, and irritation, among other effects that, if we think carefully, signal a significant energy expenditure. What transpired with POWs who were subjected to starvation also catches my interest. Many people said that there was almost no sexual desire under this situation, since the body's self-preservation instinct shut off processes deemed unnecessary for immediate survival. Perhaps this is why seminal retention seems like a logical approach for people who want to make the most of their bodies by embracing behaviors that are meant to extend youth and maximize health. I observe that some people vigorously defend their use by claiming that preserving semen and avoiding wasting it in ejaculations outside of a reproductive context can help preserve the physical and mental vitality that, in some traditions, is part of what it means to be a man. As I delve deeper into these works, I discover a logic that makes sense to me. As I age, I tend to retain my youthful characteristics longer, which keeps me appealing. In other words, it's not just about living more, it's also about living better, looking healthier, and inspiring everyone around me with my confidence and vitality. When comparing different people, I can personally observe this phenomenon. Some young people in their early 20s exhibit early degradation, which is frequently linked to poor habits and a lack of discipline, while men in their 40s exhibit the vitality of someone in their 30s or even younger. My conclusion after doing this analysis is that our daily decisions about what to keep and what to throw away have an impact. Knowing how strong sexual energy is makes me understand that squandering it pointlessly affects my physical condition, my health, and of course my capacity to draw in the other sex and feel secure in my own skin. This retention, in my opinion, aids in the body's resource canalization. If every ejaculation loses not just nutrition, but also that inner strength, I would rather figure out how to channel this potential for my growth, significant initiatives, well-being, and even for bolstering my self-confidence. I'm not here to impose rigid regulations, but to provide an idea that seems very sensible to me. Why not save this energy for very important occasions, particularly those when I intend to bear children and leave behind descendants? Without this viewpoint, I believe it is more valuable to transform this motivation into self-care, self-awareness, and personal growth. Then we encounter the problem of ancient beliefs, cultures that saw semen as a crucial energy carrier. I've read a lot of documents that discuss the importance of maintaining this strength in order to acquire mental clarity, self-control, bravery, and charisma, all of which affect how other people see and regard us. I am aware that this concept may be viewed with skepticism in today's society. Common sense dictates that ejaculation is frequently harmless and natural, but when I look at the links between rapid aging and high rates of sexual activity, I start to wonder how much we've been taught to view ejaculation as always positive without taking into account the potentially significant long-term effects. This conversation is not, in my opinion, straightforward and concluded. In my opinion, it is reasonable to analyze the findings of some research, the evidence that more frequent reproduction is associated with aging, and contrast this with the potential use of specific retention times to reroute this energy. I think it's worthwhile to experience it in my own body and see whether there are any changes in my disposition, mental clarity, physical strength, or even how other people respond to me. Men who have given up the habit of ejaculating every day or many times a week have told me of their positive changes in mood and body image. You must read my new book, Alchemy of the Gods, which is available in print, digital, and audiobook formats, if you have already experienced low energy cycles and are looking for a way to unlock your potential. There, you will explore profound topics like the activation of Kundalini, the effectiveness of crystalline oil, and the route to spiritual liberation, which will lead to real internal change. Both the description and the updated comment contain the purchasing link. First of all, though, I have something new that you might not have anticipated. If you're prepared to change your life and increase your energy to new heights, Semen Retention Success Path is the ultimate manual you've been waiting for. In order to create an audiobook with more than 2 hours of useful material for its development, I researched the 6 main themes in the world of seminal retention. Prepare yourself for a voyage of personal development and self-discovery that goes much beyond the norm. Imagine obtaining profound and long-lasting improvement, regaining your vigor, and unlocking a vast amount of vital energy. This audiobook is a master key that unlocks doors to a new degree of achievement and fulfillment, not just a straightforward information source. Additionally, you receive a 30% discount on my exclusive ebook, The Art of Semen Retention for Men, which is now 20 pages long and contains powerful techniques for spiritual evolution, personal development, emotional balance, self-awareness, self-development, spiritual connection, and life purpose. When you purchase the audiobook, you can realize the full potential that each of us possesses with the help of this content. The New Channels tab, which provides special advantages and the opportunity to become a major supporter of our work, is another essential tip. Once you're in, you'll have access to YouTube and help us deliver more news and valuable content to our community. Check out all the links in the description and the updated comment if you're serious about changing your life. Keep in mind, if you leave a thank you note above $5, YouTube will be more likely to answer your queries and help spread the word to more individuals who need to wake up. It's time to make an investment in yourself and move on with increasing your vitality and self-determination. It makes sense to me as I can devote more of my efforts to training, employment, education, and even how I interact with friends, family, and of course, potential partners. I am aware that some people disagree with these concepts and maintain that they are exaggerated, but I have observed numerous instances of achievement in real life that show the opposite. This sense of control over how I spend and channel my critical energy is exactly what makes me feel better. Ejaculating whenever you feel like it, or whenever a stimulus appears on the phone screen or in your mind, is an instinctive behavior that I will not just follow. This is a step of responsibility. I view this as an investment in myself, as I understand how much my entire system appreciates it when I use this strength to become a more aware and focused individual. I've also heard about the idea that the internal energy state may have an impact on the brightness itself, the firmness of the muscles, and even elements like the vocal tone. In terms of personal magnetism, it is not only the basis of mystical discourse, but also manifested in subtle yet potent indications that the individual is in harmony with himself and is not depleted by excesses. This discipline of retention gives me the opportunity to stand out in a society where sexuality is continuously encouraged, gain more control over my urges, and establish a spectacular presence. Every story I hear and every study that demonstrates the connection between aging and reproductive energy use makes me want to preserve this valuable resource till the appropriate moment. I see that while we are always surrounded by quick stimuli that belittle this experience, there used to be a better awareness of the spiritual role of the sexual act. After periods of retention, I see a greater clarity and a sense of confidence that arises without my having to try to display it. So this reflection makes perfect sense to me. These are minor indicators that I was previously unaware of, like waking up more willing, wanting to create something creative more, feeling less nervous around other people, and retaining my mood stability. Speaking about this with someone who haven't experienced the notion yet can cause strangeness, but I think that when someone truly begins to see the benefits in real life, it speaks louder than any theory. I have begun to view ejaculation as a physiological and energetic event of great significance. If it is not contributing to the creation of a new life, or the profound expression of a connection with someone, I fail to see why I should invest a lot of energy in building my projects and dreams. To illustrate how the body temporarily limits or inhibits reproduction functions to safeguard essential organs when deprived of nutrition, I like to quote some studies. It is an obvious example of how nature views sexual behavior as expensive. Given that we are surrounded by stimuli that cause us to ejaculate without a compelling explanation, why not examine this same principle? The necessity to conserve energy in a state of stimulus excess and the body's wisdom in a time of calorie scarcity are strikingly similar. In actuality, seminal retention arises as an act of consciousness. It is not a straightforward act of suppression or denial of sexuality, but rather its prudent use, maintaining the potential to experience life's fullness in all other domains. Because I get to know myself better, I can recognize the triggers that used to make me ejaculate spontaneously and see other ways to transform this power into something that enhances me. I believe that this decision also helps me exercise more self-control. It's interesting to note that many guys who tell themselves they are younger have been indicating this shift over time by reporting slower aging and a more captivating presence in the world, especially in respect to effective interactions. When people inquire about my belief in all of this, I honestly respond that it is more than simply a belief. It is an actual observation. Every decision I make, every habit I change, and every attempt to maintain that energy within myself results in a discernible effect that motivates me to keep going. Seeing how those around me react to this condition of increased vigor and balance is also satisfying. I understand that attractiveness is not just about physical characteristics. It also shows itself as an immediately observable sense of security and calm. The idea that there is a logic behind the balance between pleasure and purpose is confirmed when I contrast this point of view with stories that illustrate how nature preserves organisms that are not frequently involved in reproduction, or how a human being deprived of food interrupts sexual desire to keep alive. My commitment to retention helps me better assess under what conditions I truly want to release this energy, but it does not stop me from pursuing relationships or experiencing desire. Therefore, I draw the conclusion that our choice of how to handle our sexual strength is closely related to our level of youth, attractiveness, health, and magnetism. And in my opinion, this decision is among the most potent pillars for people who wish to live full lives, retaining their vigor and excitement for far longer than they could if they were forced to continue the frequent cycle of ejaculation, which just depletes their stored energy. When I share my viewpoint and my thoughts on historical, scientific, and empirical research, I hope to pique the interest of others who share my belief that seminal retention offers a singular chance for spiritual and personal growth. You're losing sight of something fundamental in your day-to-day existence, as though the ongoing difficulties have stifled your actual potential. Regaining the vibrancy and clarity you desire may require going to the road of personal development and seminal retention. If this message resonated with you, please like, subscribe to the channel, and watch the next video with us to help you take the next step toward the change you so desperately desire.